Hey guys, Barrett here. Welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to give you a few tips for the 3-0 pickleball player. These are some essential things that you must learn if you want to get better. Not only will these help you get better, but also they'll help you to reduce frustration. They'll give you a little bit of direction so you can figure out where you need to go next. So let's get started. Now, as a lot of you guys know, I don't come from racket sport. I used to be here. I used to be in these situations. I know what it's like. And something that 3-0 players do a lot is they just smack the ball and they really basically just kind of say, hit it and we'll see what happens. Now, that's not what we want to do. We want to try to hit with purpose a little bit more. Okay, so let me just show you kind of what that looks like here. So this is what you see from 3-0 players. They just smack the ball like this and everything goes up high and everything is very uncontrolled and very chaotic. And it feels chaotic when you're doing it because you're just kind of hitting the ball or even jabbing the ball like this and just kind of yanking everything. We need to learn how to have more control over ourselves, over our body when we're hitting these shots, and it's going to start with the feet. So let's start there. There's this mantra that I use in pickleball. It's called feet first, swing later. You can't swing at the ball unless your feet are nice and comfortable and you're in a balanced position. Okay, so as an example here, just stand up straight like this, have your feet kind of balanced, shoulder width apart. Okay, now lean over like this to the side where all your weight is on your right foot. Then try to take a step. It's very difficult to do. Whereas now, come back into that relaxed position, okay? And now take a step regularly. It's much easier to do. That's why we talk about feet first, swing later. That's why people talk about footwork all the time. In order to have more control over yourself, really what that means is having more control over your feet, okay? So, I'm gonna hit some shots over here. I want you to notice what I'm doing with my feet. Okay, so watch. I'm just gonna be kind of hanging out behind the kitchen line. And as I'm dinking shots over here, I'm getting back into a ready position every single time I'm hitting the ball. And I'm sort of just kind of dancing on my feet here. It's always going back to that neutral position that we just talked about. Remember, is that if I'm leaning to one side, then it's gonna be very difficult to try to get the ball, and everything turns into chaos. The chaos starts when our feet are in chaos. So when you're dinking back and forth here, do these little dance moves with your feet and just keep it going like this. This way we're nice and balanced so that we can move when we need to. Nice. Now if you come from tennis, you can do the split step if you want to. It's probably gonna be natural. So right before your opponent hits the ball, or when they actually do hit the ball, give yourself a little hop, and that can really help to make sure that you're nice and balanced. It all starts there, guys. It all starts with the feet. The next tip is to learn how to reduce pace. Reducing pace is huge. If you're out of control on the court, the ball's flying everywhere, your paddle's flying everywhere, you have to learn how to slow the game down. And it all starts with learning how to diffuse pace. So what's going to happen is Linda's going to hit really hard shots at me, and I'm going to hit to a target here in her kitchen zone here. Okay, I've got a cone. You can put like a paddle or a shirt or a towel, whatever. It doesn't really matter, okay? So she's going to hit hard shots at me, and then I'm going to throw the ball directly into the cone so that it messes up the video. Your goal is to do exactly that. Okay, perfect. So do you notice how fast that ball was coming at me? And do you notice how slow I sent it back? That is how you reduce pace. And this is just a great way to practice. Just stand here right in the middle of the court, have hard shots hit at you, reduce the pace to where they land in the kitchen. Awesome. Do that. So if you're able to do that then and use that in a game, that's going to help you out a ton, because then you are starting to have more control over the pace of the game, and that's the point. That's where you want to be. one thing that can really help is to really try to loosen up on this grip. One little trick is to take all your fingers off and just have your index and your thumb on here, just for practice. Don't do that in a real game, but just for practice. That can really, really help you get used to this feeling. So definitely loosen up on that grip. Try to stay calm and reduce the pace that your opponent is giving you. Okay, the next tip here has to do with positioning. So oftentimes the reason why we lose control over a point, we lose control of ourselves, is because our opponent is hitting shots that put us way out of position. Okay, so if I'm dinking back and forth here, and I'm just dinking neutrally with Linda just right in front of me here, right, and we're just kind of having a nice little dinking rally, easy peasy, right? But what happens when Linda starts to dink over here? All of a sudden I have to move my body back and forth, but it's not getting the dink that's the problem. Okay, there's stuff you need to do to get these dinks, of course, but think about why were they able to do it in the first place? Cause and effect here. The reason why Linda was able to hit that really good shot is because I gave her an easy one. And one of the really great things you can do as a 3-0 player is to start to change the direction of the ball. So I'm going to give Linda the ball here, and she's going to hit a dink to me, and I'm just going to change the direction. Okay, now that seems like a very easy thing to do, but when you're in the middle of a match, it's a little bit different. It can be kind of a little bit intimidating. And also we have a tendency to hit the ball back directly, exactly where it came from. And that's the habit that you have to get away from. And so it can be very, very useful to put cones on the side here and aim for those cones. Stop aiming for the player, okay? So here we go. So I'm gonna aim for those cones instead. Look at how much she had to go over there, okay? Aim for the cones. Brutal. Sometimes it'll hit the cone and it makes it even harder to get. You see what I mean though? Start to change the direction of the ball so that they can't hit the good shot. So those are the 3 big things, guys, that will really help you to have more control over your game. We covered basically 3 different areas here. Footwork, making sure that our feet are in position, we're light on our feet, we're dancing around, we're balanced, okay? Secondly, to make sure that when you have to be defensive, to really learn how to take pace off that ball. Try to defend in a way that takes the power away from your opponent. And the third thing is a little bit more offensive in terms of positioning. Don't give them the easy dink. Make them move so that they can't hit the good dink to you, which would then cause the pop-up or the bang fest or the total chaos that can ensue sometimes in pickleball. Now keep in mind, even when you do get better, chaos is still going to happen. Okay, it's just that it happens less and less as you get up into the higher skill levels for the most part. Anyway, guys, head on over to pickleballkitchen.com. I got a bunch of stuff on there, including all of my videos, podcasts, all that sort of stuff. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'll see you next time.